The Big Daddy G Show. The Big Daddy G Show. The Big Daddy G Show.
Here's Yo Daddy.
My hat's off to you, lady. Good job. We'll see you in the hereafter. Viva Austin, Texas!
Take a sip, take a rip. Once you live, just double click. It's the Big Daddy G Show. Big Daddy G Show. It's the Big Daddy G Show. Now type it in, take it in. Where do I begin? He's really funny, and he's not really thin. It's the Big Daddy G Show. Big Daddy, it's the Big Daddy G Show.
Dude, you gotta try the queso with the taco meat, man. It's delicious.
Really? That's a book on how to make Mexican martinis. I've got the recipe right here. Y'all try that. Share it.
Hi-ho, what do you know? The Big Daddy G Show. The Big Daddy G Show. The Big Daddy G Show. Daddy's home.
Here's Yo Daddy. Hey, Mikey.
Hey, what's happening?
How are you?
I'm doing all right.
All right.
Got a drink for you.
Woo-hoo-hoo! That's
This is my Big Daddy drink and my Big Daddy shirt.
Mm.
Gotta
Look
go
at
with
that
the
shirt.
style on the Big Daddy G Show.
Dude, nice shirt. Nice. Look at that. Hell yeah. So, Mike, you're going to have to, well, first, just hang with us because we're going to do, I got to talk about a couple of things. So just, you can sit there and make faces.
All right.
this is my rose that sits on my desk, in case y'all are wondering. And there's my yo-yo. It's my mom's rose, my dad's yo-yo, and my friend Andy's piece that he sent me from Hawaii. Hey, can you get it? Look at that. Isn't that cool looking?
Nice.
I don't know what that is, but it's cool. So, oh, here we go. We got a close-up. Sorry, Doug. There we go. How cool is that? All the way from Hawaii. So, and don't worry, just like the guy at the White House, I have my football. Is that what they call it? I call it a medicine box. So here's my medicine box. I've got everything I need right here. So a couple of things I wanted to talk about was, where's that? Let me have that mask thing. So here is a mask thing. From what I understand, you have to wear them now in Travis County. Is that right? Or is that true? You have to wear it out and about, or you don't have to, but they're, how's that? How's that? Isn't that cool? Anyway, here's the mask. You're supposed to wear them outside, I think, in Travis County, but I'm not sure if that's true or not. But this is my mask that I wear. So I was thinking yesterday that now that everybody's wearing a mask, don't you know that now there's going to be a mask fetish? So, dun, 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 here's my mask. Okay. Yes, masks are required, says Marla. Hi, Marla. Okay. So, I'd like to see, if possible, I'd like to see people with faces or masks on their faces for a mask fetish. We're going to have a mask fetish contest. So later on the show, Hollyfield, if y'all know who Hollyfield is, and even if you don't know who Hollyfield is, Hollyfield is a stray cat that found her way into Green Acres. And now she is, now she's part of the family. But Hollyfield met some guy that was probably a, what do you call him? A car salesman or something. I don't know. He's kind of sharp, you know? And so anyway, so he talked Hollyfield into doing things that only, well, anyway, Hollyfield had 4 babies. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 babies. And I happen to have one of them with me. I don't want to stress her out. So I didn't bring all the babies so that y'all could watch them. She's just a few feet away. So it's not like she's freaking out or anything like that. She's here. So don't sweat it. But I wanted you guys to see how beautiful this kitten is. And so next week, I'll show you another one. And then the week after, another one, and another one, and another one. So, because there's only 4. So, but that's going to be later on in the show. The other things, one of the things I wanted to say was thank you to Doug Gray, our fearless leader from Public Access here in Austin, Texas. Hi, Dougie. There's Doug right there. Am I doing this right? There's Doug right there. No, that's Mike. So there's Doug right there. So anyway, thank you, Doug, for all your help. And we are so glad. We've been having a lot of trouble trying to live stream the show. And then what happened was Tyrone said, well, I don't think we're going to go live after all. So I smoked an organic cigarette, and that was the end of the show. So anyway, also thank you, Tyrone, for working so hard to get this show going. And I know we can't wait to get back in the studio. Hopefully that'll be pretty soon, because I sure do enjoy being at the studio. And, you know, it's just a lot better cameras and stuff like that. So there's the tablecloth in the back. There's El Paso. See, I'd make a terrible weatherman.
It's mirrored.
There's El Paso. And there is Lubbock and Amarillo. So if anybody's watching from Houston, there's Houston, and there's my hometown, Austin, Texas. Orale, what's up? Oh, look, there's Fort Worth. What's that over there? Dallas? Oh, there's Dallas. Woohoo! I've been in jail in Dallas a few times. They're very, very, very nice. Okay, so those are some of the things that I wanted to talk about. There's just one more thing. Tyrone wrapping me up here, but one more thing, and that's when it comes to the coronavirus, we are not going to get into it, and we're not going to talk and tell you what to do or anything like that. But I will mention that please do not listen to politicians, listen to doctors and scientists, and use common sense. So that's it. That's all I got to say. And now, without further ado, there's a movie that's you can actually watch for free right now. There's Mikey.
Hey.
It's called Also Starring Austin, and the guy that directed it is right there. He was on the screen there for a second there, and he'll be back. And we're going to interview Mikey. His name is Mike, and his last name is my favorite thing at Dairy Queen, Blizzard. Hi, everybody at Dairy Queens all over the state of Texas. They know me well. So Mikey is going to talk to us about Also Starring Austin. And also, oh, hold on a second. See, that's what I like about the studio. In the studio, we don't have any roaches. We don't have any roaches in the studio. But, yeah, here's one. Here's a roach right here. I'm going to show you the guys this roach. Just kidding, Doug. Okay. Anyway, so now we're going to talk to Mikey, and we're going to show you a couple of clips of the what's it called, the trailer.
So we have the trailer to the film.
We have the trailer to the film.
We're going to have 2 clips of Austin Public.
2 clips of Austin Public, and that's it. So the rest of the time, it's going to be me and Mikey talking and drinking, and on the breaks, a little smoking.
And we're also going to 5 different ways we can help Austin Film Society.
5 different ways that we can help Austin Film Society.
Brought to you by Mike Blizzard.
Brought to you by Mike Blizzard. So please help me welcome Mr. Mike Blizzard. Woo! Mikey!
Thank you.
Is that Dean back there? Behind
Okay,
you?
so behind me
Yeah.
is it looks like John
James?
Jimmy Dean, but it is actually Julia Dean. And this is
Really?
by a friend of ours, Felice House, and she did this whole series called Re-Western. And she took iconic photos from the from Giant, The Searchers,
Yeah.
Good, Bad, and the Ugly, 3:10 to Yuma, and she replaced those iconic characters with women,
Huh.
models,
How cool is that?
women of color, and the series is just absolutely just fantastic, and it makes you see these scenes in a very different way, and this was one of our favorites, so we got a copy of it, and just absolutely loved it.
Is that 3:10 to Yuma? Was that with that guy? What's his name? The actor, not George Clooney, but
In that one.
The remake was Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe. That's not from the Russell Crowe one, because that one I didn't enjoy that much.
No, it was the original one, like back in the 50s or early.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
okay,
original
okay,
one
yeah.
is way better.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. But the one with Russell Crowe, woo, stinker.
You know, remake
but,
westerns. How often does that like pan out? You know,
Exactly. Well, I had a good time. Let me tell you what I do. If I go to a movie and it's kind of sucking, I just go, dude, I'm gonna go walk outside for just a second. I'll be right back. And when I get back in, I don't care what it I don't care what it looks like or what the movie's about. I'll even go watch a Will Smith movie. Because he's got to save the world again and again. So anyway, all right. Okay, so Austin, Also Starring Austin, is a movie that you directed and wrote and what else? And produced it also. Oh, dude, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the main producer.
Nice. So tell me about. I have a list of questions for you.
Yes. Brought to you by Tyrone Ng.
Brought to you by Tyrone and G. how did you come up with the idea? I'm also
Um,
Austin. How'd you come up with that idea?
It's a good question. So it uses scenes from movies that have been shot in Austin over the last 50 years now to sort of see the city through the cinema lens. Like, how has it been portrayed over time? And we're lucky to live in a city that has been portrayed over time. You know, most cities you wouldn't be able to do this. There's probably only a handful of cities you could do this: San Francisco, New York, Los Angeles, Paris.
Yep.
So I was at an AFS, Austin Film Society, screening of the movie Roadie,
Yeah.
which stars Meatloaf.
Yep.
And that year they were honoring Meatloaf at the Austin Film Awards. And must have been a slow year, is my joke. And the nothing against Mr. Loaf at all. But I mean, he was anyway. And there's a great scene where they're racing through. The cops are chasing them through downtown, and there's all this mayhem. It's in the middle of the night. There's no cars on the road in downtown, and you could just feel everyone in the theater wanting to press pause, like to see, like you recognize some things but not others. And I had this idea when I walked out of the theater. I thought, wow, there's been so many movies shot in Austin. If you strung them together in some way, you could show the change in the city over time through the movies that have been shot here. And that was just the initial basic idea. It'd be more like an experimental film, you know. And when I started talking to people about it and watching a lot of these movies, and Laura Morgan, who became an associate producer, was a much beloved person here in Austin.
And she's beautiful.
I hired her part-time to start watching these movies with me, and we split them up. And I had no idea. I thought maybe we were talking about 50 movies or something. It turned out to be hundreds of movies. But as we watched them, we started to realize there was something else going on here. There was more than just the physical changes in the city, that these movies like document the culture of Austin. They're not just like documenting how big the buildings are downtown. They're documenting a certain, you know, feeling, a certain, you know, vibe of the city. Mm-hmm. And that became over time much more of the focus of like how these movies reflect the city and the community and the culture of Austin.
Awesome. Well, there's
so it all started with that one idea of like, oh wow, everyone wants to see what Austin was like at that time,
mm-hmm.
and then that developed over time into what it became.
Yeah. So I think Doug put the your Facebook page on that film, and there it is again. So if you guys want to check out the film, there's you know, find out a little bit more, get behind it, dude. If you ever thought about making a film, if you've ever thought about being involved in making a film, this is the guy that you want to follow, because he's been doing it for how many years now, Mike?
Well, you know, film was like my second career. I was a political consultant and PR consultant for years, and then I got into film maybe about 10 years ago.
Okay.
And produced a documentary about Doc Ellis called No No, a documentary, DOCK-umentary. You can see it on Amazon Prime right now, and that had a lot of success. And while that was still happening, we started working on this film, and then working on another one right now that we just finished shooting in early March, thankfully, before everything got shut down. So it's been a lot of fun and a lot of you know, establishing relationships is the biggest thing. You know, it's like meeting people through the process that then can help on the next project, you know, and creating a team of people that you work with and all that great stuff.
Right. Right. And what, how can somebody, because there's a lot of people out there, and how can somebody get involved in making films in the Austin area? How do you think, what would be their first step to get involved in somebody else making a film, or them making their own film? You know, what do you think? What do you think is the best way to do that?
Well, honestly, one of the best ways. Now, I may be a little bit biased because I'm on the board of the Austin Film Society, but
Woohoo!
but many of the people who worked on this particular film came through the internship program of the Austin Film Society, and that included Laura Morgan, and included our editor, who does just amazing job on this film, Laura Caldwell, assistant editor Tricia Torley, the guy who cut our trailer, which you'll see in a few minutes, which is, I think, fantastic, Trevor Garza. So it is a great pathway for young people into the film business of Austin, because the people who work at the Film Society notice when you are, you know, good, have certain talents. And so people like me are in contact with them and saying, okay, we need someone to do this. Do you have anyone who's about to come out of the internship program that might be great? The UT-RTF, you know, radio, television, film program is also, you know, for people who want to go the more academic route. You know, obviously many, many great people have come out of that program over time. And, but strangely, like, the university, as the city has gotten bigger, is integrated into the city, I would say. It used to be that those things were sort of one and the same, but as the city has gotten bigger, I think the university is a little more isolated, strangely. And a lot of times those students aren't getting integrated into the local film scene, maybe as much as they could be. But the Film Society definitely, or even like a lot of films, you know, you can go and be an intern on a specific film, you know, if you can find out what's going on. And I could give you example after example of people who've come up that way. There's also great grant programs here and elsewhere, where if you have a particular idea and you want to see that film happen, you apply for a grant, you know, make a short film first that shows what you can do, that can later then maybe become a feature or put you in front of people to make a different film. So a lot of different pathways into it.
Right. I told Doug this last week. I don't know if anybody watching right now got a chance to hear it, because we were having so many problems with the live feed. But I told Doug about this guy in Austin was making a film, and it was a very, very, very low budget film, and they didn't have anybody to do catering, and I went and I catered, feeding like almost 30 people. I think it was 2 meals or 3 meals or something like that. And I did it all for free just because I wanted to be a part of the movie set, you know, part of that, you know, film. And so I fed all these people for free, you know, and sometimes that's what you got to do to, you know, to get your foot in the door, you know. And once you get your foot in the door, then, you know, you work your behind off, and, you know, don't question anything. Just do what the director tells you to do, or the assistant director tells you to do, and just go. And dude, they will remember you. People will remember you. Directors and assistant directors, they'll remember you the next time they get a film and they've got a huge budget or a budget. Then they'll remember that you worked really hard on that film, and they'll call you and they'll say, hey dude, you know, we need you for this film. This is how much money we have. Can you help us? You know, bam, you know, and that's how you get your foot in the door. One of the ways to get your foot in the door. The other way is like I did, just, you know, the casting couch. But yeah, isn't he in jail now, Weinstein? Anyway, that's a whole different story. I don't know if I'm available to talk about that right now, but Mikey, I'm sorry, we're getting a little off subject here, but we wanted to go ahead and show the trailer, if we could, now, of also starring Austin. And I believe, how long is the trailer? Do you know?
About 1 minute and 30 seconds.
It's about 1 minute and 30 seconds. So kids, sit back and relax and enjoy this trailer, because you're going to enjoy the film. And then after the trailer, we'll tell you how you can watch this film for free for the next few weeks, I guess, next couple of weeks or something like that. So, all right, Dougie, can you roll that clip, please?
I got a phone call one day saying I'm coming to town. I'd love to hang out with you. And it was Jonathan. would you like to see some Austin films? He said, sure.
It had this magnetic effect for a lot of young filmmakers, that realization that you can make a film locally with not a lot of money.
That was the trajectory. You made something local because you wanted to be in Hollywood.
Rick wanted to just keep making his movies here, and I wanted to keep making my movies here, no matter what they were.
We had the locations all within an easy drive. Come back into town at night and party and have a good meal. Go back out and shoot the next day.
It's not LA, New York, because it's not set there. We were like, I want to be in Austin.
We write what we live and we live what we write. Is that wrong?
It was weird growing up here and then trying to shoot a movie here because all of my friends were extras and they were all watching.
And I think that's what I love about Austin. It's just the people and the energy. And people work to live here. They don't live here to work.
I think they're each tremendously enjoyable. You can see the collective passion for cinema just oozing out of these films.
It's fun to just shoot in your backyard.
Ta-da! Wasn't that awesome? Hey, Mike, I know you mentioned the editors earlier. I think that you said there was 2 editors on that film.
On the trailer, the editor is Trevor Garza, who also edits trailers for the AFS Cinema and the Alamo Drafthouse. And he came out of the AFS intern program. And so it was great to have just like a fresh eye on the project. To say,
right.
What are the things, I gave some ideas, but really he came up with almost all of that, the way it's structured. And it was just from watching the movie, because if you go to the AFS Cinema, you'll see like, man, they have these great trailers of, old movies or whatever. Well, they have a lot of the interns do that for them, editing interns. And so it's a great way to spot talent. Laura Caldwell, who's the editor of the movie itself, that's where I first noticed her, because the AFS had just become AFS the Marquesa. They hadn't quite become a full-time cinema yet, and she cut some of those early trailers. And a great story, we did an event with Toby Hooper, the director of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and he came to town, and Lewis Black helped arrange that. And we showed his first film, Eggshells. And so Laura, before she was ever the editor for the film, cut that trailer for that event, and it was so killer. I mean, it was great. And so Lewis Black takes it and he sends it to all of his like famous friends.
Nice.
And Jonathan Demme writes back, "Lewis, this is awesome," in all caps.
Yeah.
And so I was able to send that to her and say, check this out. I mean, she couldn't speak, I think, for like several days after. The director of Silence of the Lambs is, saying, "Your trailer is awesome." So, that was a clear sign of like, people have that talent to put together images and music in a way that, can really make things dynamic and exciting. And that's what we wanted for this film. It's like, there's a film called Los Angeles Plays Itself, which is about films made in LA. And it's great. I mean, it's like 3.5 hours long. I mean, you got to really dig in, but it's sort of static. It doesn't, it's very interesting. It's culturally relevant, but it doesn't like move. And we really wanted this to move and to like keep you engaged. And so Laura on purpose, like never watched that movie. Like she didn't want to be influenced by it at all. She was just like, I want to make this the way, I want to make it, rather than to have it be like that or not be like that or whatever. So.
And that was Laura. And what's Laura's last name?
Caldwell. Yeah, she's got this great band called Sun June, which has become quite a hit. They've traveled around the country and they've traveled over to Italy and different places. And so there's a theme in the film when people watch it, that the film scene and the music scenes have always been sort of interconnected. And a lot of times the filmmakers are also musicians and vice versa. And she's a shining example of that. You know?
Right,
So while this film was being made, her band started to take off. So that these days is her major focus.
Well, Laura, if you're watching, please send us a clip of your band, man. I'd love to listen. You know, what's the name of her
They also
band?
cut their own videos, you know, so they're like, they don't have to, you know, go to someone else. They just like film their own videos.
Right. I like watching. I mean, I like going to the shows and stuff. I got live shows. So yeah, Laura, put me on the guest list. I'll show up. Let me ask you another question, Mike. How would you have been able to make this film on your own, or was the fact that AFS was? Hey, look, it's Karen Hoffman Blizzard. Oh my God, Karen. Okay. Anyway, do you think what did AFS do to help you in making this film?
Well, number one, I guess, I mean, the most prominent thing is they were the fiscal sponsor of the film. So it's not a big commercial enterprise. You know, you're making a film about a particular city. It's not Los Angeles or New York. I was aware of like what the financial realities of documentaries were. We had a lot of success with the Doc Ellis documentary. It was on Showtime and Netflix and these other outlets. But I knew that this was going to be kind of a smaller film. You know, I wanted it to be really cool and have its audience, but I knew that I couldn't convince investors to invest in this movie. I couldn't be realistic about that and tell them this is going to make you money. And so one of the things AFS does is a fiscal sponsorship where you come under the umbrella of the organization. A lot of films do this so that people can donate to the film rather than invest in the film, and they get a charitable tax break for doing so.
Oh, nice.
So that was one big way that AFS helped. And like I said, a lot of films do that, short films, feature films here in Austin. And then they take a piece of, they take like 10% of every contribution to fund their programs. But then the community of AFS, I mean, that's a big deal. There is a film culture here, and I think they're pretty much at the center of it. And so that's how I met a lot of the people and that are in the film, that worked on the film. I mean, it couldn't exist without them.
Right.
I mean,
Well, I saw your film at the AFS Cinema, and what used to be called the Lincoln Center. I don't know what it's called anymore. That place.
It's called the Link.
The Link. Okay, the Link, and it's an awesome theater, and they have great drinks, and they serve alcohol, and they also have awesome popcorn, man. And some of the nicest people work there. Really, really nice. And they put up with me, so they got to have patience. And super, super nice people. I've never, ever had a bad time there. And I've seen some great films there, man. So check it out. It's called the Austin, AFS Cinema, Austin Film Society Cinema. And you got to check it out, man. Stop going. You don't have to just go to the major ones. You can go to the mom and pop ones, and this is basically a mom and pop theater. So please, if you get a chance, check them out. I believe they're like on 290 and I-35 or something like that.
Yeah, ask them the 5 different ways we can help Austin Film Society during this lockdown.
Okay. Hey, Mike. What do you think? There's the front, and you'll see the front on my intro to our show also. Mike, what are the 5 things that people can do to help AFS, during these times,
Yeah, so the cinema is shut down,
Hey, Charlie. There's Charlie.
So the cinema is shut down right now, unfortunately, but for the right reasons, It has been for a number of weeks, so they don't have that income stream, that they've had now for a couple of years. And so one big thing that people can do is you can go to austinfilm.org and you can pre-buy tickets for the future, and they give you a discount. So you can get packets of tickets, like 10 tickets for $100 or whatever. Give them to your friends, save them for yourself. when the cinema opens back up, you can use those, and it, you know, like the typical tickets, maybe $12 or whatever. So this will give them an income stream, you know, that will be, it's sort of like flattening the curve, right? You don't want to have this terrible, you know, downturn right now. So we need to flatten the curve up so that the organization continues to make some money now,
right?
And then, you know, flatten over time. You can become a member of the organization, and that's all sorts of things. If you want to be a filmmaker, if you're interested in being a filmmaker, you should be a member of AFS. You should be hanging out when it reopens at the AFS Cinema, because, you know, Richard Linklater is there introducing, you know, films, or just going to films. You know, the Zellner brothers, or David Hartstein, or whoever, or Brian Poiser, you know, Kat Candler. They're there to watch and enjoy movies and to be part of the scene. And so, you know, that's where you meet people at these events. You know, I was at an event one time where Linklater hosted some screening of like Reds, which was like 3.5 hour plus movie. And everyone came out into the lobby bar afterwards, and then they all wanted to go home. So then the conversation went out into the parking lot, and then it slowly went further out into the parking lot.
Yeah.
There was like 3 or 4 people left still talking film.
Yep.
And, you know, it's a great way to meet people and be part of that culture. People can also, if you can afford it, you can make a direct donation at the website, austinfilm.org.
Hey, Paul.
The Film Society. And let me see what else. I printed these out because we had talked about it before. They have these new virtual screenings, so this is great. Karen and I, who just popped up here earlier, had watched one the other night. It was this batshit crazy. Can I say batshit?
Yeah.
Crazy film, a Brazilian film.
Just don't show it.
And you can go to these virtual screenings and you can watch a film. And especially if there's more than one of you, you know, it's a really good deal. You can watch it at home. It's films you can't find elsewhere. And so it's another great way to support the Film Society. I mean, they've done so much for the Austin film industry and the film culture in the city. And this is a way that we can kind of, you know, keep them going during the pandemic.
Right. Well, in case you guys are wondering, Tyrone is a member of AFS, and I am a member of AFS and been a member for many years. And, dude, it's a great way to, like Mikey said, it's a great way to meet people, man.
We wouldn't have met Mike without.
Yeah, we wouldn't have met Mike. We wouldn't have met Richard Linklater. Well, we would have met Richard Linklater before. I mean, I've met him before, but we wouldn't have had him on the show. And we've had him on the show. You know, 5-time Oscar-nominated director, lives here in the Austin area. So please, this AFS Cinema, man, that's a place to go, and they have functions all the time. They have get-togethers and stuff. It's a good idea to get down there.
One more thing.
And the other thing that I wanted to say was that, you know, we wouldn't, if it wasn't for AFS, we would not have this TV show. We would not be here entertaining you. And dude, they're so cool, and they're so willing to help you, that the station manager is Doug Gray, the guy that was, you know, I guess is it this way? The guy that you saw on the screen earlier with the beard, that's our station manager, dude. And he's helping us with the live stream today so that we can bring you a show today. And he's doing it all for free. You know, he's not charging us or anything to do it, because there he is right there, because he likes to help. And those people there are there to help, man. And they're awesome. You know, Graham and Charlie and Matt and Brian. Dude, there's so many of them on there that, you know, they're there to help. So if you want to make a film, you want to get involved in films, involved in television, whatever, that's an awesome place to go, to be, you know, well, to be associated with. And hey, Mikey, what were some of the things that you can tell us that happened during the making of this film things that you can tell us that are kind of funny, or things that, you know, something that happened kind of weird, or, you know, like earlier before we went on the air, I went outside for a second, and there was like this. I know y'all are thinking, you know, he's smoking organic cigarettes, but yes, I am. But and drinking, but there was a light outside, and I don't know if anybody believes in UFOs. There was a light outside, so it caught my attention, and I thought I was going to be late for the show. But dude, there was a light outside. I don't know why I'm bringing that up, but dude, look in the southeast sky. There's lights out there that don't make no sense. So anyway, so tell us if you can you remember anything that happened that was funny or interesting when you were making this film?
Well, one of the best things was the very first interview we did was with Tobe Hooper, you know, who's like the first big director who came out of Austin. And so he came to town, and Lewis Black was instrumental in that. They're great friends. They were great friends because unfortunately Tobe has died. And so he's no longer with us. But so that makes it even more special that we were able to, you know, show this screening of Eggshells, his very first movie, you know, interview him, and then hang out with him for like the next 2 days. We called it Tobe Week.
Nice.
So we all went to dinner. We got a room at Vespaio. We everybody who had helped got to come to that and be part of just hanging out with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did a secret screening of this movie of his that had never been released, or at least this version. We did it at the screening room over at Austin Studios, and it was just this thing that everyone involved just has such great memories of, because you know, you can't buy that. You know, it's like an experience of being with this really, was just a really interesting guy in a lot of various ways. And so those types of things, you know, Laura Morgan talks about when we went in to interview Elizabeth Avian, who's such a wonderful person, you know, the producer of all the Spy Kids movies and Machete and Desperado and, you know, all these different Death Proof and Planet Terror. And I was late, which I'm often very late.
We're going to get along just
so
fine.
Laura's trying to like tread water while I'm not there. And she's like, oh, so where do we want to set up? And Elizabeth looked at her and said, well, you're the female producer of this movie, right? And she said, yeah. She goes, well, you decide. Nice. And that was like a big moment. Here's a person who's been the producer of movies that have grossed in total $1 billion, you know. But just like the nicest sort of mom energy, wonderful person and life energy person. And she's just like, hey, I'm putting this on you. You know, you can do it. And that made a big difference. It was a big moment in Laura's life. She was maybe, you know, 25 years old at this time or something like that. I don't know. So, you know, it was, there was like moments like that were fun. There's also a lot of, you know, when you're making a documentary, there's a lot of, what would you call them? Distractions, like having to pay someone to stop working on their porch. You know, they're building a deck in their backyard, like too close to where you're filming, and you have to send someone over. So I used to do that for other things. So that was part of my training ground. Like if you want to be a producer, then you got to learn how to go and get people to stop doing stuff. You know, like stop mowing their yard. Stop playing this loud music at the construction site or whatever. So we would have games of like, okay, who's going to go, you know, go get them to stop. Put a $20 bill in one pocket and a 10 in the other to see how, you know, things can go. So there's just, it's guerrilla filmmaking to make documentaries. When we shot Wiley Wiggins on the baseball field, where he actually played in Dazed and Confused, we were warned that to get a permit for that was going to, you know, take an inordinate amount of time, and we wouldn't probably be able to schedule it right or whatever. So we just climbed the fence, hopped it, set it all up, shot it without a problem, you know. And so it's just, you know, you gotta get out there and just sort of make stuff happen.
Right. But now Mike's not telling you to go out and break the law or anything like that. Okay, do you understand? But he's just telling you be creative. Be creative in how you're filming and what you're doing. Mike, your film. Where can people watch your film right now?
So once this happened, we had played at festivals, and then we, had a great run at the AFS Cinema and everything. And it's not the type of film that is going to get a big, wide commercial release. Some people argue it should. Richard Linklater has been a great, sort of champion of the film, besides being in it and being just such a, just a sort of the godfather of Austin film.
Yeah.
To be honest. And his argument is like, why is it like when we read some news article about an archaeological dig in Egypt about some ancient civilization, and people pull up all this stuff, like that's interesting to people, and this is like an archaeological dig into the Austin film scene. It shouldn't really matter that it's Austin versus some bigger city or whatever. It's an interesting thing. But the industry still today exists in New York and Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And to those people, the sales agencies and stuff, they're like, this is great. I love it. I can't sell it. And who's going to be interested in this if they don't live in Austin? So there's a real, I was telling Tyrone about this recently, like we really need an Austin-based film sales agency. There's a whole lot of other films I could name. The Broken Spoke documentary, that should be
Michelle Randolph Ferris.
Yes. Right? I mean, that film, Sam Douglas and Brenda, and they did such a great job. That film makes me cry. But it's just really interesting, and it's the type of content that people are consuming like crazy. Why isn't that film more widely released? People come here and go to the Broken Spoke like they wouldn't watch that.
Right.
So anyway, it's not just this film, it's other films like that are sort of Austin centric, but I also think, well, Austin's an interesting place to people, and we should have a better outlet to get these things out there to a wider audience. But that said, so what we decided to do is once the everything started to shut down, people started to do virtual concerts and all this great art. People in Austin, they just want to, they want to perform, they want to create, they want to show what they're doing. And so people started doing all this stuff, and we just thought, hey, let's release our movie. Let's put it out there for free. And at first we just said, we're going to put this out for free for 2 weeks on YouTube. So you can just go on YouTube, search on Also Starring Austin. You can find it, watch it for free. And we do ask, if you can afford it, to give a contribution to the Austin Film Society. It's not required. You can watch the film, make the contribution when you can afford it. But if you can, do it. But then, of course, we didn't know when we did this that this would start to be like a lockdown, possibly for months. And so our next joke was like, we're going to keep it up till Easter, because Trump had made that, we're going to open this, country up back by Easter. And really, we're just going to keep it out there as people keep watching it. It's been a great thing. So many people have, reviewed the film on Letterboxd and contacted us. The woman who plays Pam in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, who's featured in that trailer you just showed, where she's getting up off the bench and everything. She watched it and loved it and contacted us. The guy from Austin Stories, which is this hilarious late 90s television show that MTV did that was based here in Austin, contacted us and just loved it, and which was great because we had so much Austin Stories stuff in the film originally that when we cut it down, we had to lose a lot of it. And that was like a really hard process. I mean, the original cut of the film was 3.5 hours.
Wow.
It's now an hour and a half. So that was a lot of great stuff got left on the cutting room floor, and especially from Austin Stories. That show was hilarious. And so to have Chip contact us and tell us how much he loved it was just this great feeling for everybody. Jeanette Scott, who's a major set decorator on many of these films, watched it and sent an email. And so it's something that we want people to be able to see and enjoy, but it's also great for us too to get all the feedback that we get from people watching it.
Right. Well, it's an awesome film. Is where could they watch it now?
It's on YouTube, so we put it on YouTube
right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you just go, and the reason a lot of people are putting stuff up on Vimeo.
Yeah.
And Vimeo is a better quality, and that's why people use it.
Yeah.
But it's not accessible. Like, you can only watch Vimeo online. YouTube, almost all of your televisions, however you use to get on Netflix or Amazon or whatever, you can also
get on YouTube.
Yep. So you can watch it on your television. And for me, I prefer to watch things on my TV rather than online,
Right,
so,
right.
Like, let's put it on YouTube so that people, can flip it open on their television and watch it there.
Right. Yep. What?
I have one thing to say. We have a clip to play about how to become a producer at Austin Public.
Okay.
We want to show that before we're off the cable.
Okay. Hey, Mikey, we're gonna show a real quick clip about Austin Public Access, real quick. So hang tight, take a rip, a sip, or a puff. We'll be right back. Watch this; it's really interesting.
Cool.
Life is good.
If you're in Austin, Texas, and you're doing film, you need to know about this place. This is a gem. If you're about it, and they have the classes for you to, if you don't want to go to film school and you just want to learn piece by piece by piece, you can come here, man, and really spread your wings. Because I've become a better filmmaker just from being here, and it's fun. It's my playground, man.
What would you say to somebody that's sitting out there watching this right now and is thinking about doing the show on public access, but just hasn't gotten off the couch to do it? What would you say to them to encourage them to come down here?
Oh, man. It's like I have so many thoughts on this. I'm trying to condense it down to one brilliant line that you can put on a poster or something like that.
Why not?
Why not?
You just have to do it. Everybody has an audience.
The first step is just showing up, and then learning. And then once you get started, continue to do it, because consistency and discipline equals success. There's no skipping steps. You can have your dreams and everything going on in your head, but if you're not actively making moves to do it, then they're just going to be dreams.
Everybody thinks you need all this stuff before you can actually do something, and here you just it works. You come in and all the resources are here, and it's so easy.
I have a master's in filmmaking. I spent 3 years at UT studying filmmaking, and that was great, but there were so many aspects of filmmaking and a lot of DIY filmmaking and broadcast specifically that I really learned here.
When I first came here, I could not believe it was not a line out the door. Yeah. And I'm like, why are people not tapping into this resource? I mean, it is very valuable. Just like here tonight, we've learned something tonight already. By looking at the multicam, all different things. We have an equipment room, and it inspires you to want to go and create something new.
You have to take that step and just believe in yourself enough to know that there'll be enough resources and people around to help you, and just get out there and do it. It's a lot. Like, I've had people who come in and are so nervous, but then watching them watch their final product is a complete joy.
There's something that you're fascinated by. There's something that makes you tick and is unique. There's no way why you can't use this as a lens to kind of explore that, whether it be Dungeons and Dragons or football or music. It doesn't matter. There's something about you that you can explore with this, and that will actually build your community.
You have to be able to fail in order to get better. There's no possible way unless you try and do something that you can be able to learn from it. That's all it is they give you a space to fail. I know it sounds terrible, but I mean, you have an opportunity to create. Go create.
Hello. Hey, do we have another clip that we were going to show? Or is that it? Hey, Dougie, can we show that other clip real quick? So Doug's going to try to show you the last clip, and then I'm going to introduce you to the kitty cat. There's Doug. Hi, Doug. I can't hear you. Your mouth is moving, but love is a many splendid thing.
He doesn't have it set up or what?
Oh, we couldn't hear him, but I don't know if can we hear me now? Anyway, Mikey, are you still there? So this is the newest addition to Green Acres. This is one of them, and we're going to need help. What do you call it? We're going to need help naming them. So, but this is one right here. He or she, we're not sure if it's a boy or girl. Oh, here's that clip. Woohoo! That was awesome. That was an awesome little clip. Thank you, Doug. So anyway, here is the baby. Look at how adorable he or she is. I'm going to take a little bit of the there. Ta-da! You got to say hi. Say hi to the kids. Say hi, kids. He or she, we'll say Shim, just opened Shim's eyes yesterday. And look at that. Isn't Shim adorable? I'm not a cat person. I'm not, but I am now. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? How adorable is that? Hey, Mike, I don't know if you're still there or not, but I want to thank you for joining us. We've got about 38 seconds. Can you recommend any movies that you... My favorite movie is Arthur, the 1982 one, the first one, with Dudley Moore. That's mine. What have you got? Oh, we can't hear you.
L film, Amazon right now. You can rent them. The whole shooting match, Hell of a Note. There's a great documentary called The King of Texas. It's about the very early films of Austin.
Nice.
There's also this great DVD. I don't know where you might else be able to find it, but it's a DVD set of the short films that Jonathan Demme showed in 1981 in New York that really made this huge difference in Austin filmmakers.
Okay.
So I was going to recommend those. I know that the Pinnell films are available for rent on Amazon right now.
Awesome.
Which is the first time they ever have been.
Mikey, we got to go. And
All right.
I just want to show the kids one more shot of the kitty. Ooh, the kitty.
Go, shoot.
Kitty. And next week we'll have another one. So thank you for joining us, Mikey.
Right,
thank you,
you.
Charlie, for all your work.
Blizzard, thank you, Doug.
Thank you,
Y'all
Mike.
are
Thank you,
awesome.
Doug. And thank you, everybody at
And
AFS.
everyone go see Also Starring Austin on YouTube, because we need to get more views on that video, because he deserves it. He worked damn hard for that movie, so go see it.
There you go. Ta-da.
Yes.
That was the cat. That was the cat saying all that.
Yes, that's the cat. I'm sorry, I'll stop. Bye, everyone. There's my hat. See, Joe James. Go listen to Joe James.
Can I borrow that hat?
Yeah.
Joe James, I know you watch the show. Hey, do you know that Richard Linklater watches the show? Joe James, your hat that you gave me has now been confiscated.
Sorry,
So,
it's a nice hat. I had to wear it.
anyway,
But thank you so much, Mike.
Thank
You're
you,
amazing.
kids. Thank you, kids. Thank you, Doug, Gray. And we'll see you next week. Stay tuned. Peace.
Good night, yo.